So good afternoon ulit, gentlemen, ladies. Pasensya nyo yung aking introduction. I'm not imposing this on you. This is my personal code, di ba? So more than being Allan Cayetano or a senator, a former Secretary of Foreign Affairs or former Speaker or Congressman, I believe I'm an ambassador of the Lord Jesus Christ, di ba? So I'm not imposing that on anyone, but our USEC here will tell you, ambassadors don't have opinions. Kung ano ang sinabi ng principal nila, yun ang iyong opinion. Hindi ka pwede magsariling opinion. So when we pray, yung Lord's Prayer na, your kingdom come here on earth as it is on heaven, you're actually aligning your government and your culture with God's culture, di ba? And God's purpose. Yung pinakasimple is do good or promote good, prevent evil. Parang sa police din, Sir Marbil, di ba, na prevent evil, do good. Saan nagkakatalo? Nagkakatalo dun sa mga pro-Duterte na the drug war was a war for peace and order. It was a war because many pushers and to certain effect addicts who committed crimes were making people unsafe. So to those who are supportive of that, they're doing God's will of promoting good. Doon naman sa human rights activist, ang ano nila, accountability. So kahit yan ay pusher or addict, hindi dapat patayin na lang or EJK. Wala tayong complication if Duterte was more like FVR or more like Pinoy, because his language was more diplomatic. So you wouldn't hear FPRRD, despite being a distinguished soldier, one of the founders ng special forces, di ba, even sa police, di ba? So pero kasi si President Duterte may lengguwahe, pag lumaban, patayin nyo yan. His explanation is that yun kasi naiintindihan ng kriminal. Pero ang police, aral yan, so alam nila tama't mali. So if you looked at the videos when I was foreign minister, I had nothing to do with operations, but part to nung explaining to the world what was happening, and part to nung communications. It was both based on the foreign policy, and the President allowed me to put a little bit of my opinion. So ang stand namin doon, during that time, and this is where I'll start my questions, SOJ, is that lahat ng mali iimbestigahan. So the only way that President Duterte will have a chance to show na walang systematic culling of addicts, extrajudicial killing, walang crime against is individual one-on-one investigations. What confused everything during that time? First, meron po kasing issuance ang sila Secretary de Lima noon, ni-redefine nila yung extrajudicial killing. AO 35. Kaya yung 13,000 to 18,000 na patay every year during the Aquino administration, suddenly nung Duterte administration, so nung time nila, sinabi nila hindi extrajudicial yon. So nandun sa AO, tinanggal nila yung mga activist na hindi daw extrajudicial killing yon. So pagdating ng Duterte time, basta't patay at hindi natural causes, extrajudicial. Okay? Pero klaro din naman na dumami din because nga, once you started the campaign, meron talagang away among the syndicates, meron, from the start, Duterte said, meron politiko, meron police, may businessman, lahat yan may involved sa drugs. And no one of us naman doubted that. Ang question lang, yung due process sa mga pulis at politiko dun sa drug war. So, klaro tayo dun. So, eto lang yung question ko. SOJ, feel free kung tingin mo, sub judice or issue na to, but factual lang, no? I think this is of public record. Former Senator De Lima was CHR, was a Commission on Human Rights chairperson 2008 to 2010. Tama, no? Yeah. So, no one disputes that. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala siyang final na case during that time na siya'y CHR. So I'll just check that, Madam Chair, and then submit it to the committee. But ang pagkaalam ko, walang case. Okay. But eto siguro masasagot ng DOJ kung hindi ngayon, just forward the answer. From 2010 to 2015, despite the investigation of former Senator De Lima noong 2008 to 2010, ang sabi niya, mahirap kumuha ng witness kasi nga mayor pa siya noon, tapos malakas daw sa presidente noon. I think he was peace and order head nung region eh. But 2010 to 2015, siya ang DOJ secretary. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala rin siyang final na case. To your knowledge, may final ba ang DOJ noon or special prosecutor against Duterte ng 2010?
I have no idea,
Yeah.
sir.
Can we double check?
I will double check,
Yeah,
sir.
okay. Sa pagkaalam ko po, sir, wala. Okay? Ang point ko is that either wala siyang kaso, meaning wala siyang ebidensya, because if she had, why didn't she file it? During the time na siya nakaupo na walang poder si Mayor Duterte. Okay. Fast forward, 2016, September pa lang, so June 30 kami naging senador. Siya, I was an incumbent noon. July, last week of July ang third week ang SONA. So July, August, September. No? Wala pang 2 buwan as senator, nakakuha daw siya ng 2 importanteng witness. Si Edgar Motobato and former PNP officer ba siya or Arturo Las Cañas. Again, I won't make a judgment here as far as the 2 witness. But dito niya ginawa, okay? Again, no cases filed and yung pagkagawa ng hearing was very political. I was just testing the credibility of Edgar Motobato and Arturo Las Cañas. For all I know, they were very credible. Pinatayan ako ng mic dito sa sesyon. Inagawan ako ng mic, ini-intimidate ako. And although namagitan si Senator De Lima, hindi niya sinensure, hindi niya pinagalitan yung umalis ng mic. And anyway, history is the record. Ang point ko, still they did not file cases dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hawak nila yung 2. Sabihin mo nang walang mangyayari, I don't agree, but sabihin mo walang mangyayari kasi panahon ni President Duterte yon. So again, fast forward, no? From 2022, June 30, when President Marcos took over in Marcos administration, to present, do you know of cases filed against President Duterte, whether it's murder or crimes against in the Philippines?
I think Senator Sonny Trillanes filed cases.
Okay. So meron.
But this went to the office of the Prosecutor General, who immediately forwarded the said cases without going to my office to the Ombudsman. And there, it's already, it was locked in there already. It never went back to us.
So as we're discussing naman SOJ, this is factual lang naman, di ba? May case ba, wala? We're not making judgments dun sa cases. Because, but ang point ko kasi, kung walang case, bakit? Kasi kung walang ebidensya, no point for ICC to take it up. Kasi wala ngang ebidensya. If it's because hindi matry dito, for whatever reason, di ba, pinoprotektahan natin, our justice system doesn't work, then dapat mapunta sa ICC. So I don't know the amount of evidence attached to the complaint of Senator Trillanes. Again, I won't comment. Factual lang yon. I have my opinions, but I'll keep my opinion to myself. No? But in June 24, 2022, so ano pa to? Duterte pa to, no? Kasi June 30 pa ang Marcos, di ba? Nag-file ang Solgen sa ICC ng deferral request. So you're aware of this. Okay. So tignan na lang nasa page 315, no? Kasi can I have the ayan sa ICC? I think you talked about jurisdiction but hindi nagsentro sa Article 17 din, pero sa ICC, hindi dun sa batas natin. I think the deferral was based on
Ito yung notice of deferral.
18-2. So, just for the record ng mabilis lang, I haven't even read that yet but just for us understanding and then baka makatulong not necessarily on what side but makatulong sa Supreme Court, no? Okay, Article 17, issues of admissibility. Having regard to paragraph 10 of the preamble of Article 1, the court shall determine that a case is inadmissible where, okay, ICC to, Rome Statute, which we ratified and then we withdrew, no? Sabi, A, the case is being investigated or prosecuted by a state which has jurisdiction over it, unless the state is unwilling or unable genuinely to carry out the investigation of prosecution. So again, SOJ, I won't put you on the spot, but for me, 2008 to 2010, hindi naman unwilling at hindi naman unable to carry out yung state. This was the time of President Arroyo. 2010 to 2016, to be fair, niratify yung ICC 2011 pa. So, naging effective 2011. So, wala na yung 2010. But for me, 2010,
He has doctors.
2011,
Senator
ganyan.
Jinggoy, so
Hindi
walang
unwilling
katotohanan
ang
dun sa
state.
sinasabi
In
na
fact, pumirma nga
hindi
sa
ninyo
ICC.
pinagbigyan yung
Hindi
sarili
rin
niyang doktor.
unable yung state. Wala lang
not
talagang
true, ma'am.
final.
Okay.
Letter
They
B, the
requested the
case has
doctor-
been
the doctor's
investigated
right.
by the state which has
We given
jurisdiction
ECG.
over it, and the state has decided not to prosecute
They asked
the person
Ms.
concerned unless the decision
the former
resulted from
president
unwillingness or
He asked the-
inability of the state genuinely to prosecute. In general, SOJ, SILG,
Okay,
no?
Senator
In general,
Jinggoy,
Sir
I,
Marbil,
bil-
Chief PNP, in general, I don't remember that the Philippine government decided not to prosecute.
hinila yung
Diba? Kasi
upo.
under our present laws, if you find probable cause,
Nung
even the
kinul-
president cannot stop it.
Ayun?
Even ang pardon natin,
Sa kanya?
iba sa US Constitution. Sa pardon, you can
Ang
pardon right
liwanag
away
po
sa
ng
US. Sa
batas,
atin, kailangan
kung ma-follow up ko
na
lang si Senator
ano
Jinggoy,
na, diba,
tama po siya.
final-
Hindi
diba,
lang
kailangan
yung
final
immediate
and
family,
executory, eh.
Final
medical
judgment.
doctor,
Final judgment,
pare,
diba? Final judgment. So kung nag-a-appeal ka pa, hindi ka pwedeng humingi
Petition.
ng pardon.
Bakit
So I
ganun?
don't think we stopped any
Ma'am, I
case or
think
refused
that's sub judice.
to.
I think we should
The
be
third one is the person has
wary of
already been
many of the
tried
things we
for the
mentioned
conduct
bakit po naging sub
in which the
judice
subject
yun?
complaint
Ito kasi,
and trial
ano
is
yun,
not permitted. So I
habeas
think this is
corpus
their
petition.
version of double jeopardy.
So
no?
everything about
so wala
the
din yan
arrest
kasi
would
wala
be
pa namang
asked by the
kaso
Supreme
si
Court.
former
Kanina
President,
pa
former
natin
Mayor
pinag-uusapan
Duterte.
yung arrest.
Letter D,
Pero
the
ano
case is not
I think
sufficient
we're
gravity to
trespassing,
justify further
parang
court
lumalabas na
order.
po
I
tayo
won't
sa
comment
boundary.
dyan kasi
Senator Jinggoy,
nasa
ang
ICC yan.
sinasabi
Except
ko lang,
that
the manner
ang
on
nilagay
how
nila,
the former president was
at
arrested.
least
Because ayoko
19,
naman mangyari sa darating
and
na
then at
panahon.
least din ba yung
na
23 or
magkakaroon
23? So
naman tayo ng
I have a
ganyan.
little bit of a problem
Sana
that kasi
makapagbigay lang
pag
ng
sinabing
korting,
crimes against humanity, naaalala mo na yung mga dictators sa of the
Masakit
old
para
sa
sa akin.
Africa or some in the
Pakipaliwanag
troubled
din
areas of
na maraming
not the untroubled areas of the Middle East na grabe ang patayan and everything,
yun.
di ba? So to put the
Masakit
Philippines
para sa
there with President Duterte,
Pakipaliwanag din,
I think it's a little bit
maraming
unfair na
salamat,
gamitin mo
Senator
at least,
Jinggoy.
di ba? Kasi kung sinabi mong from 17 to 1,000, at least may idea tayo. Pero at least 17, ano yon? Baka 18, baka 19. And don't get me wrong, every life matters. Pero iba kasi yung crime against humanity, iba yung murder lang. No? Again, hindi ko nilalang ang murder in the sense na one life yon, you should still be tried, di ba? So for the record, if we have evidence, we should file the cases here against President. He should face here, okay? So mahaba pa to, so hindi ko babasahin lahat, pero just to go to 18, challenges to the jurisdiction of the court or the admissibility of a case. So pwede kasing mag-file yung Solgen. And then nandito, if a challenge is made by the state, the prosecutor shall suspend the investigation until such time as the court in accordance. So, ang point lang dito, and correct me now or later on kung mali, is that at any time, kung alam natin may investigation, pwedeng sabihin nung state tayo na sandali, we're hearing it here, or may ongoing dito, or mali kayo. Of course, they can overrule us. They can say, no, we don't believe justice will be there. So, to my knowledge, during the Duterte time, never tayong nag-intervene na except etong kay Solgen ng June 24. I mean, I may be wrong kasi knowledge ko lang to, but June 24, nag-intervene siya. Sinabi niya, sandali lang, please postpone, di ba? Hindi ko pa nababasa anong dahilan na to postpone. During the Marcos administration, we did not, no? We had no filing sa ICC whether na ituloy niyo yan o wag niyong ituloy yan.
It was Secretary Guevara who filed the Philippine position with the ICC.
But that was still Duterte time kasi September.
No, it was already our time.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll refer to that. But did we ask them to stop or to proceed or
Yes, we were asking them to stop, but
We asked them to stop.
But we failed the test. We didn't win the case.
okay, did they tell you why? Was it our justice system or they said na pwede pa rin? Or just submit
It's actually the ruling also that what we is being tried here is not a country but individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law.
Sige po. But clear naman dun sa Article 17 and 18, the state intervenes but it's individuals naman eh. 'Di ba? So I won't go into that na. So I'll move on to sinabi ni SOJ kanina na investigations are ongoing. 'Di ba? Whether this is individual or groups, whether police or nothing to police, 'di ba? Na sa lahat ng extrajudicial killings.
But it has not been easy, Mr. Senator.
It's not.
It has not been easy.
To your point, I don't have it right now, ha? But when Senator De Lima said hindi inimbestigahan, I looked at the investigative capacity of the PNP during the Aquino administration. Parang one-third din lang ang naimbestigahan. And of the total na naimbestiga, it was, I will correct my numbers, ha, but it was like only 20% of those investigating were trained for investigation. That was a long time ago at minana din lang ni President Aquino yon. But ang point ko, there was no substantial
Senator,
difference between the
respectfully,
investigations in the Aquino and
the threat of
Duterte.
hihilayin ko na yan was
The
not
difficulty that we had
towards the president, the former
from
president. It was
2022
it was ensued
that
after
in
a
wrongful
heated
death
argument
situations
between
throughout
his
the
counsel
country,
and General
where
Torre.
something
In no way
foul was
was
suspected.
the former
There were no police reports.
president
As a matter
threatening
of practice, there were no police reports on wrongful death situations. And when we tried to dig further and we spoke to the medical legal, the most known medical legal person in the country, Dr. Fortune, when she investigated a wrongful death situation, the death certificate indicated cardiac arrest as the cause of death. But in the autopsy, there were bullet holes in the head of the
Well,
person.
that is in itself is evidence, di ba?
Yes,
If there
it's
was
evidence.
if there was widespread na walang police report, and that's the first time I heard that, because when I was SFA, Foreign Affairs Secretary, and I was asking, sinasabi nila, sir, lahat yan at dapat pagka-suspicious ganito yung sistema, no? And kung meron forensic na cardiac arrest ganyan, so at the very least may falsification yan, di ba?
Yeah, when we looked at the records of the wrongful death situations, there were really no police reports.
Okay.
Maybe 95% had no police reports.
So anyway, that's for another hearing, etc. Ang point ko lang, our justice system is working.
it is working.
It is working. I mean,
Yes.
it has its ups and downs, and my common belief na pag administrasyon ng presidente, may konting protection for that. May ganun belief, whether it's true or not. But this isn't anymore so 2008 to 2010, 2010 to 2016, kung kailan man nagkaroon ng break-up yung unit team, hindi na panahon ni President Duterte ngayon to. So,
Actually, what the cases that we are speaking about were filed by their families in the ICC.
Yes.
Because they could not get justice in the country.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that nobody wants to acknowledge is that there was a failure of our justice system for a long time. And they had to file their cases in the ICC to get any attention at all from anybody who cared. Because for the longest time, ito mga biktima po, yung mga namatayan, yung mga pamilya nilang namatay o kaya napaslang sa drug war, ay wala ho nang mapuntahan. Kaya doon ho sila nagpunta sa ICC.
That's why I said, SOJ, na may belief na pag panahon ni Arroyo, it's very hard to go after Arroyo. May truth o hindi in the sense that meron na presidential immunity while you're president. Pero pagkatapos hindi, di ba? That's why after President Erap's time, nakulong siya. After President Arroyo's time, nakulong siya, di ba? After President Aquino's time, wala naman nag-file ng kaso kay President Aquino. Okay? So kung ang belief, wala kang justice kay Duterte during his time, I won't comment, but that's a belief. But 2008 to 2010, hindi sila nag-file. 2010 to 2016, hindi sila nag-file. And then ngayon, pwede sila mag-file. 'Di ba? So, and walang so I mean, the ICC should also look at our patterns and system. It's not only the period eh. So the second point I want to make is that for example, no, si Mr. Las Cañas as Mr. si Motabato, one, hindi naman dinala ni, and she's free to manifest here kung mali ako, di naman niya dinala sa DOJ or sa Ombudsman yung dalawa eh. After dalhin sa Senate, hindi ko na alam kung anong ginawa nila. Okay, two, assuming it was because they think walang mangyayari during Duterte's time, did anyone bring Edgar Motobato and Las Cañas either to the DOJ, NBI, or to the... Pwede bang dumiretso sa witness protection or...
Marami ho kami nakakausap na possible witnesses.
Yes.
But not them.
Yeah.
But not Matubato.
But
not Las
example lang,
Cañas.
yung dalawa lang, no? So ang point ko lang, di ba, if the rest of the world, the European human rights activists, etc., for the record, SOJ, if these gentlemen are brought to you, and I'm not talking about the prosecutorial lang or DOJ, I'm talking about the whole machinery, the witness protection, the NBI, the PNP, the CIDG, will we investigate?
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We would have. We would have.
Will, di ba? So, in the same manner that General Torre is complaining about vloggers who have fake news about him, if there are complaints about Marcos vloggers na fake news, you will also investigate CIDG, di ba? I mean, people might believe or not, but you are duty bound to investigate whatever side, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but of course, during Duterte's time, they did not believe. If kasuhan mo Duterte vloggers, they don't believe may mangyayari, di ba? But I think there were some na cyber libel even during Duterte's time, no? So the point lang I'm making, and it is not addressed to you but to the international community, is that the Philippines is a vibrant democracy. Di ba? Our economy is good. The peaceful transition from Arroyo to Aquino, from Aquino to Duterte, from Duterte to Marcos has done as well. So yes, we have problems with politics now, but which country doesn't? The US, Europe and the US, di ba? May mga significant difference sila. I mean, many countries are at war. We're not at war. Di ba? We have problems with China, but we're working it out. Di ba? We have problems with other countries. We're working it out. We have problems with Pogo. We're working it out, di ba? So my point is, di ba, na in my view, dito dapat, yes, accountability, pero dito dapat trinay ang ating dating Pangulo. The last point I want to make is that iba pa rin pag former president. I mean, sa US, nasa US Constitution nila that the Americans can't be tried elsewhere. But lalo kung US president. So sa akin kasi, kahit former siya, hindi na siya presidente, he's still a symbol Diba? So like me, diba? You know how hard I went against President Arroyo when she was president. But when I was speaker, may pinagawa siya sa House, winelcome ko siya, etc. Kasi yung office, even if hindi ka na doon, nirerespeto mo pa rin iyon diba? So,
Maybe I can,
Go ahead, sir.
I have to tell the Senate that nobody's happy with what happened.
okay.
Wala akong maligaya sa nangyaring ito. Ngunit kailangan lang gawin namin yung aming katungkulan. Sa tingin namin yun ang aming katungkulan, ginawa namin ang aming tungkulin.
And sir, that's where we disagree kasi tingin namin there was another avenue to go to court. But as you said, that'll be probably part of the litigation. So let's see not opinion, last few. So who received the March, so kailan po na-issue yung warrant? March 10 or March 11?
I know
March 11, sir.
March 11.
March 7, it was under seal.
Okay, under seal.
Yun. Tapos, March 11,
Who or what office received it?
The PCTC,
PCTC.
sir.
They received it. Then from them, Santrin and Smith.
To all the relevant law enforcement agencies.
Law
sir.
enforcement. Then,
Yes, there are 3 Interpol connections in the country. NBI, Immigration, and of course, the PNP.
okay. Then when it was unsealed, was it immediately executed or did any relevant government lawyers review it muna to see whether a Filipino citizen, whether the rights of a Filipino citizen was being...
Sir,
impeded?
just to be clear,
Yeah.
after the warrant was served on March 11, 3 a.m., it was only in the postmortem that we learned about the unsealing on March 7. So there was no information to us in the effect that it was unsealed on March 7 until after the service of the warrant.
Can you enlighten me on that, Sec? So the unsealing was...
Yes, we learned about the unsealing of the warrant post-arrest, sir.
Okay.
When he was there already, it was revealed to us that it was opened on March 7, although not transmitted to any members of the government.
Okay.
We only received notice, formal notice. I think when the unsealing happened, that's when all the rumors started.
Okay.
I think
So-
that was the basis of President,
I
President.
thank you for that, SILG, because that factual na meron na nung March 7 na unseal, etc. So
But
I
again,
won't...
sir, I have to clarify that
Yes.
there was no one in complete knowledge of the unsealing until after the arrest.
Who unsealed it ba, theoretically? Or
It
what
was
office?
Secretary Boying, it was unsealed by the ICC.
By the ICC?
By the court, yes.
By the
Yes.
court, okay. Let's fill in the blanks na lang factually as, the circumstance, what do you call this, permits. But ang point ko, from the time it was unsealed, served to the President, did any government lawyers look at it muna and make a
we are.
determination? Or we took it at
Yes,
face value, iserve na yan?
Yes, sir. Again,
You can change my words, if
yes.
you think
Again,
prejudicial
sir,
yung word.
just to be clear, there was no contact between the government and the ICC.
So yun lang yung
Whatever
obstruction
we
dahil
informed.
nagsisigawan yung
We only
mag-asawa.
received
He is
the
preventing
warrant of
us from
arrest
doing our
by,
job of loading the
PCTC
former president
on
to the
March
Hinarang
11,
ba kayo?
2018.
Yes, ma'am.
So when
Anong
the
ginawa?
PC...
Hindi
Nakikita
namin
naman sa video
makita
eh.
PCTC, sir.
PC yeah, okay. When that office received ang marching orders or ang
Ko lang,
SOP
why
or
was there
protocol,
obstruction
again,
of
if my
justice?
words are prejudicial, correct
Paliwanag.
me. Please,
Na
I
obstruction
don't
of
mind.
justice.
I'm not
General
putting any
Torre,
bias or prejudice. I'm
would
just
be the best
speaking
one
the
to
way I
explain it.
understand it.
General?
Did anyone in the Philippine government or look at it and
Sabi niyo
check it out
nag-obstruction
muna?
of justice kaya
Na,
aarestuhin na
or
rin
iserve na
ninyo
natin
si
to?
Attorney Medialdea.
Sir,
Ano po yung ginawa
upon
ni
receipt of the copy,
Attorney
I talked to
Medialdea
the
na
Secretary
obstruction of justice?
He reviewed
We are
it. He assumed that it had a
we're about
presumption
to
of regularity
load
as informed.
an arrested person
And,
into a plane
we
to
subsequently
transport him
informed
to
the president
the
of the existence of the warrant.
tribunal who issued the warrant.
You concur with that?
And Attorney
Yes,
Medialdea
yes,
is preventing us from doing
I
that.
reviewed.
He shouted at us.
It was
And,
talked to me.
this was-
I was in Vienna at that
Yeah,
time.
the
this wasn't.
president
This isn't a
intimidating
trick
Alam ko,
question. So
malaking
meaning,
tao si
if
Attorney
you said no
Medialdea,
one
pero
reviewed, I
hinarang
would
ba
have
kayo?
asked.
Tinulak ba kayo?
Wouldn't
Wala
it
namang
be
ginawa eh.
a better protocol that someone
Hindi naman
reviewed
nadadaan sa salita yung
para even
obstruction
before the
eh.
accused goes to court? But
He did,
saying
ma'am.
that you
So,
reviewed it, I
I
assume
believe
that you
that,
found it
under that
regular.
circumstances, I
And
have to
I
arrest
won't
him to
argue with you
just
there.
to-
I mean, I disagree that the
And I did.
the warrant
I do believe that I used the reasonable force
rise to the level that ipadala mo na lang
ensure
siya doon dapat sa
compliance
court muna. But
for him to step
you were
aside
satisfied at least
for
in
us to
form.
load
Again,
the
I don't want to
the
put
former
words, form, and
president to the
substance. But
plane.
you know what I mean. Tinignan mo, and then okay
So yun
na
lang yung
to.
obstruction.
Yes, I
or
gave the
sinawal
clearance.
ng
I gave the
mag-asawa.
clearance
He
to
is
serve the warrant.
preventing us from doing our
So,
job of loading the former president.
Again, I just
to the
want to make
Hinarang ba
a
kayo?
point at
Yes,
that point
ma'am.
in time that
Anong ginawa?
for me, kung tinanggap nung
Hindi
accused,
Nakikita
namin
naman sa video
makita
eh.
eh.
Arrest
Ang
na
nakita
rin
ko
kami.
lang,
Pero kung hindi,
pinipilit niyo iposas,
sana may
hindi magkasya yung
judicial
posas.
Yes, that's one
review available. No, I already
Sir,
made the
it was-
point.
He's
Sir,
blocking my way.
it
He
was
is preventing
received
us.
at
He
the first
actually
available
placed another
instance
chair
that
at
the
the side with the
accused
president for the
allowed
former
himself
president to
to
sit.
lead it.
Yes.
Which is
That's where I
already
disagree
very
na,
much
kasi something
delaying
this
everything
complex.
because the plane is already
Diba?
ready
I
to
would have
fly.
rathered, I don't know if it's 15 days, 30
kayo
days,
masyadong
give the
nagmamadali?
lawyer enough time, etc.
We are going,
to
unang-una
go
ma'am,
there.
ang
Tapos,
reglementary
lastly
period,
lang siguro
mamalasin
po,
naman
kasi,
kami pag hindi namin ginawa ang trabaho.
Bakit?
Sa gilid si
Anong
Senator
reglementary
Amy, I
period? Anong period yun?
Natatagalan na rin
The
din
article
sa
Dahil
125,
sinabi na nga ni Executive Director sa
So,
ating PCTC, na diffusion lang naman yun.
Si
eh. Wala
SOJ
nang
naman
commitment pinag-uusapan
explained
dun,
the
eh. Wala
thin
nga
line
red
between
notice, pambira
cooperation,
eh.
jurisdiction,
There is a warrant.
and
Tagal-tagal na ni
everything.
Arnie Tevez eh.
But
Wala pa rin, di ba?
Meron
Ba't
representative
kayo
ng government,
nagmamadali? Ano
di
yung
ba?
reglementary period
we
mo?
turned over
May I refer you to the
arrested
SOJ, ma'am?
President,
If,
former
the
President
SOJ
Duterte,
wants to
not to the
answer that.
Interpol, no?
Hindi
We
ba
turned
pwede
them
kayo
over
na
to
muna?
ICC.
Mauna lang kayo. Tapos,
Our Interpol representative turned him over to the ICC.
So if we were cooperating with Interpol, why didn't we turn them over to Interpol? And then sila na.
We did, sir. Mr. Lacanilao was the representative of the Interpol.
To
He
discuss that.
accompanied the president,
introduction
to,
lang.
the
But-
former president to The Hague.
But hindi ba dual? Kasi di ba Mr. Lacanilao is Ambassador Marcus Lacanilao?
Yes, sir.
And
He is
he's
also
the-
part of the PCTC.
Yeah, but he's the special envoy for transnational crime.
Yes, sir. And
So he's representing the Philippine government, not Interpol.
Center for Transnational Crime is Interpol, sir.
Yeah, but what I meant is that he's representing the Philippine participation in Interpol.
He was given an appointment by the President to represent the Philippines in this matter.
Yes. Ang understanding ko lang SILG, di ba? So yung ICC, sinabi, kasi nga wala naman sa Netherlands. Kung nasa Netherlands, then they would have asked the Dutch police, di ba? But since nga, or the state police, di ba? But since wala nga, they asked, and since the state withdrew, they asked the Interpol, and Interpol asked us. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
So, if we were cooperating only with Interpol, dapat sinurrender natin sa Interpol.
Yes, sir. That's what we did, sir.
No, Mr. Lacanilao
He was appointed.
turned him over directly to the ICC, not to the
Yes, sir.
Interpol.
Mr. Lacanelao was given a special appointment by the President on that day, sir, on March 11, to represent the Philippines in the Interpol.
Yes, but the representative ng Interpol.
He was the representative, sir.
So dual siya, representative ng Philippines at ng International Interpol.
No, sir. If the structure of the Interpol is that the PCTC, the members of the PCTC, or as instructed by the President, becomes the representative of the Interpol. The Interpol, sir, does not mean that it's international police who will effect the arrest. The local members of the PCTC
acts as
the
their
Interpol.
agent.
Yes,
so
sir.
when it says here, representing the state authorities for the purpose of surrender, Mr. Marcos Lacanilao, in this capacity, was representing the Interpol.
Yes, sir.
Not the Office of the President or the Philippine government.
No, sir.
Oh. I'll clarify that kasi usually pag special envoy, you're representing the government.
He was properly documented and
Okay.
appointed, sir.
Sige. Dati Lacanilao lang, ngayon medyo mas malinaw. No. Yes, okay. So, factual lang, agree to disagree on the other issues. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you to...